This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity. Richard is in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Up next, what's going on, Richard?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm in a place where I've never been before, where I have no debt other than what remains on the principal of my house. I have nothing invested, but I do have my 6-month emergency fund. I've spoken with a SmartVestor Pro, and I'm comfortable with them, but I'm wondering, I can pay off what I have remaining on my house of $79,000 in 30 months, or I can start investing. What would be the point of investing if I can pay off the house? I kind of like the weight of that off of me.
That is true, but we also need to realize that compound growth is our best friend when it comes to our nest egg, and right now, you don't have a lot of time between you and retirement. When are you looking to retire?
I like what I'm doing, and as long as I can do it, I don't plan to retire.
But do you have a pension or something? Let's say your body says I can.
10 years.
Okay. So at 70 years old, how are you going to pay the bills if you don't have anything invested?
With the Social Security.
Do you know what that payment will be? Because the average payment is about $1,700.
Well, I currently work full-time, mostly full-time, and I also receive Social Security disability, and then that will switch to standard Social Security automatically at age 67. And presently, between the disability and income, I have a take-home of $4,500 a month.
Okay.
My house payment is $1,377. As I said, I have $79,000 principal left. I refied when it was in the basement, so that's at a 1.875 10-year, which if I stayed on course would be paid off in 31.
So here's, what if you did this? What if you split the difference and you invested, you have catch-up contributions you can take advantage of at this age, and you began paying off the house. And that way, as you enter retirement, you've got one less expense by paying off the house. I don't know that we need to go full on one of them, because you're going to free up that payment if you pay it off now, or you'll pay it off in the next 30 months. That's about almost 3 years. And then beyond that, you'll free up a payment you could then invest. So either way, we're going to make a trade-off here. But I like the plan of you getting into the habit of investing to build that muscle, because for 60 years we haven't.
Right.
What did your SmartVestor Pro say? I'm guessing they were on the side of investing?
They were on the side of investing, and I would have the latitude to do a catch-up contribution for 2024 up to the 8,000 mark, and then do 8,000 in 2025 as well. I guess my thought is, for what investing for a 2.5-year period and what might be built in that or may not be built in that period, but what would be off off my shoulders as far as the mortgage, for sure in that period. I'm wondering what the nominal difference would be as far as a buildup or loss or a definite payoff.
Yeah, you can crunch the numbers with your SmartVestor Pro. I just don't want you to get stuck in this paralysis analysis mode where we don't do anything, because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And so I'd rather see some action. And if that means making an extra payment a year on the house right now while aggressively investing, that's fine. And eventually, if you go, hey, I got to retire soon, let's get this house paid off, we can switch gears. What do you think, John? There's not a very clear, you've got to do this or this. The baby steps would say, let's put 15% of our income away in retirement. Anything beyond that, let's throw at the house.
Yeah, this is tough, because I am probably of the Ramsey personalities, I'm probably the one that's most debt allergic.
So Deloney's like, get the house paid off.
Yeah,
ASAP.
so dude, the idea of, I'm trying to think of my dad. If my dad called and said, I'm going to be 63 and I could have $25,000 in retirement, I've got $0, and you've probably looked up and Googled the Social Security clock, the same as everybody else in America, and watching that sucker tick and see what's supposed to be in 2030 and 2035. And so I would not hang any hats on Social Security. At the same time, the thought of being 62 or 63 and having nobody can take my house, right? I can see that for me personally being a really compelling option. My concern is, as George mentioned, and it sounds like you've had disability. It sounds like you've been fighting some battles over the last 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah. Well, it's combination of foolishness, frivolity, medical necessity with my wife who passed, and then a long-term relationship who recently passed. So now it's just me, and the house is half paid off. And like I said, I've never been at this point before.
Yeah.
So it feels like I should get out from under it and have that for sure 30 months on the other side freedom, as opposed to 30 months investing and see. It feels like it would be kind of pennies of possible accumulation and investing, as opposed to, a real solid asset that's free and clear.
I got you on that. No, I mean I track with you. My gut tells me the same thing. Totally get where you're at.
How much could you invest a month right now?
Probably $2,000.
Okay, so let me do some quick number crunching for you. From 60 to 70, you invest $2,000, you would have $433,000. Let's say you started at 63 because you wanted to get the house paid off first, right?
Okay.
That would then give you $250,000. So you got a $170,000 difference there.
At what year would that mature?
Well, it's just compound growth over those 7 years versus 10 years of investing $2,000. So, and again, you'd be investing more because you get free up the payment. So you'd be investing $3,000 instead. That's $377,000. You still didn't catch up to those first 3 years of investing that then had time for compound growth to work its magic. So that's why I feel like getting started early, getting some money in there, working that muscle, getting used to investing, and then focusing on the house. You could split the difference, but either way, you've got to get investing. I don't want to rely on just Social Security to be able to pay the bills the rest of my life. And so I want you to have somewhat of a nest egg to help cushion that with Social Security.
What do you do for a living, brother?
I do security, and it's a good position. It's a good company, and I enjoy what I do. And it's not going anywhere unless the place burns down, pretty much.
Is there a possibility? And I'm trying to be on your team here. Is there a possibility that for 18 months you could just go BANANAS, just go bananas, and work extra shifts and work overtime and get this thing off your chest?
No, because the Social Security disability has a earnings limit, and I would need to be pulling 100 hours a week to do that.
Man. That's right. Yeah.
Dang. Well, I'd probably split the difference. I want to see you get to investing and build a habit, and anything else we can throw in the house, let's get that knocked out in the next 5 years. Let's set a real clear goal and get to it, my man. Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. To learn more about investing, visit RamseySolutions.com/investing or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.